Okay. Good morning, y'all. So, I'm going to try to do this a little slow so that I don't forget anything. Excuse me. But I just had this crazy ass dream. So, I got to say it right now. And so, the dream was like Judgment Day. And, excuse me. I'm trying to speak loud enough. The dream was like Judgment Day, but let me just tell you that it is not how we are taught or what anybody else has even had the concept of. Like, it was freaking crazy. And in the dream, I was living in this kind of gated community, and there was a school there, and there was fun stuff to do. I don't know, it was like people who live on Disneyland or something. Like, there's so many things around, so many buildings, a shopping mall and grocery store, all kinds of stuff inside of this community. And there was some sort of parade or something, and I was outside with some friends. And the weird thing is, I was married to Terry Crews. I'm not sure why he was in my dream, because I wasn't watching anything with him in it or anything, but I was married to him, and he was cheating on me, but I kind of didn't care, because I just don't care. But he, yeah. He wasn't there. He wasn't anywhere on this particular, in this community or whatever. He wasn't there at the time that it was happening, so he wasn't aware. But anyway, I'm standing out there with my friends, and all of a sudden, from far up the road, because people are coming down this, walking down. It's more like a festival than a parade. Let me say that, because people are walking every which way. There aren't floats or anything coming, so it's not a parade. So, I'm walking somewhere with my friend, and we're checking out stuff. And then all of a sudden, these things, not things, but they come into the community, and they just start killing people. And as they're killing people, they're shouting out sins. And everybody starts screaming and running and going crazy, and it gets so chaotic. I'm going to probably put what they were saying as they were killing people in another video, because it was so much. And then they were saying it so much that I picked up on, like, I really understood what they were there for. But everybody was like, aliens, aliens, terrorist attack, and all sorts of kind of stuff. Like, people were yelling all of this stuff. But these things, they were aliens. And they look like us, but huge, like really, like Annunaki size. That's the word that I heard in the dream. They were Annunaki size, or descendants, or something like that in this dream. And they were very tall. Like, let's see, the tallest human being is 7 feet. These people were like, I would go anywhere from 10 to 12 feet tall, men and women, and they were pointing out the sins and just grabbing people and crushing them and stepping on people. And there was a machine. This shit looked like Transformers. There was a machine that was riding behind them that was picking up the dead bodies. And they were saying, on the other end of the park, because it kind of looked like an amusement park, the way this community was set up, on the other end, there were these light beings, and they were also large, but not quite as large as those that were performing the judgment. But they were still, big. And they were, I call them light beings because they were about silver in color. Where the hell am I going? I woke up all early and disoriented because of this dream. Now I'm not even heading to the right job. What the hell? That's okay. I got like an hour. They were silver, and they were like illuminated, like they were shining. And they said, hand over the children, hand over the children, give them to us. And these parents that were, the parents, of course, amidst seeing something so large and so threatening and all sorts of kind of stuff, they were trying to run with their children. And they're trying to run. So many people were trying to run, even people who didn't have children, they were trying to run. And they were saying the time is now, there's nowhere to run, the time is now. And these people were grabbing their children, and they saw the light beings on the other end, and these people said, oh, guardian angels. And they were like, oh, save my child. And, you know, people were putting them in the hands of these light beings. And I don't think that the people who were doing it were aware that they're all the same thing. They took the ones that were large and threatening because they did look scary. But I wasn't scared of them. I knew what it was, but I just wanted to move the fuck out of the way. It was like people were scared either way, and then they saw the other ones that they thought were angels, so they were taking their children to them, and some of them were telling the angels to take them, but they were not taking anyone that was an adult, period. They were not taking any adults. It was all smaller children at this particular time, like maybe 7, under the age of 7, under the age, I would say that under the age of 10, something like that. They weren't very big children. They were taking them and putting them into this vehicle of sorts. And the people kept running and running, and some people stopped and they tried to pray, trying to make us group to pray against it. They were trying to pray against it. And there was a man, they were started saying, Jesus is here, Jesus is going to save us, and we rebuke this in the name of Jesus and all this kind of stuff. And this man that was like drunk on the corner, he was saying, that's useless, this is Judgment Day, how you going to pray against Judgment Day? And in my mind, I'm hearing all of these things that people are saying, and in the midst also hearing their thoughts, because you know, you've been told that Judgment Day is a day of your death, that you're going to go stand before God and be judged and see if your name is in the book of life or not, and all this other kind of stuff that people make up. And this was happening like real time, and these people couldn't believe it. They were just, you know, in disbelief. They were like, I don't know, it was almost sad because they were so disappointed. And they ended up getting killed. And the drunk guy did not get killed though. I don't know why. He did not get killed. He was steady there saying stuff. And but he was saying true things. He was saying very true things. But anyway, people were running. It became such a disorder that the ground started to roll. It didn't shake like an earthquake. It started to literally roll. And as it rolled, people were getting swallowed up into the earth. And I started running with one of my friends, but it was like I came there with a group of people, but some of them got killed too. And I started to run to get out of the way of all of that mess. But they were precise, if that makes sense. Like, I realized after I had gotten into the house that if they wanted me dead, I would have been dead. Because I was there in the middle watching from far back. And then they started to get closer, and the waves started to come closer and closer, and these things are marching up. It was maybe about 7 of them, but they're very large. And still going the wrong way. That's okay. Then what happened? Then it got really close to me. It got to the point where they were like within feet of me, and I slid because it was also wet outside. I'm not sure why. The ground was also slick in the midst of it lifting up and rolling. It was slick, and I slid into some dirt, like almost like a pile of dirt and leaves, and I stood there. I stayed there under the leaves and the dirt, and the thing walked past me, but I knew that it knew that I knew that it knew that I was there. It just didn't bother with me. And so then I went to into my house, into the side door of my house, and one of my friends who had not gone to the festival or whatever, she was like, what is going on outside? I'm so scared. And I was like, don't worry about it, even though I knew. And I felt like I was one of few people that knew, but I was afraid to say that I knew what it was, because it was like we were in this secure place where we lived at. I'm not sure what kind of place it was, but it looked like, you know, government type secure. And she said, she was like, what are we gonna do? What about my children? And my husband took the kids out to this festival and they're not answering their phone. I was like, no, nobody's answering phones right now. Like, that's just not gonna happen. And then it was like as if, and then she was like, well, where's your husband? I was like, he's not here. And she was like, but didn't he just text you and say that he was coming and all that kind of stuff? I was like, he's not here. And it was weird, like in a dream, I knew that he was cheating on me or something. And she kept believing everything that he said. And I was like, he's lying, duh. But I kind of didn't care. And then it was like I knew that he was out there amidst all of that, like trying to come back. And fast forward a little bit, the government is going crazy. Those things leave. They walk out. The light beings walk out from the other entrance or other exit or whatever it is. They walk out with the children and escort those children out. And then the other taller beings, the Annunaki beings, they, escort the machine that's carrying these dead bodies. Oh, I'm still going in the room. Okay, I know where I am. Just wasting gas. Yeah, so they're walking through, like, the ground has rolled and has given up its dead. The machine is carrying some dead bodies, but some bodies are left. Some people are dying from shock. Like, I mean dying from shock, like nothing touched them. Other people, they're getting zapped, they're getting crushed, they just getting judged, and they're calling out their sins as they go. And then they left. They went ahead and they left. And at this point, everybody's on lockdown that's inside the building that could get into the building, out of their sight. They're on lockdown. And so people start going crazy and trying to connect and trying to find their family members and trying to find this and trying to find that and figure out what to do. And my husband comes in after all of this, and then I don't know, he was like, he told me that he was somewhere in the house, but he wasn't, and I knew that he wasn't, and I kind of didn't care, and I was like, his ass is going too. But I'm sitting there talking with my friends, and she's like, oh my God, I can't call my mom, I can't call this person, I can't get a contact of that person, and I don't know what to do, and I said, just calm down, look, we just gonna have a drink, let's just get some wine, and we're in the kitchen, right? And I was like, let's do one of those sangrias or something, let's chop up some fruit and sip on that, let's just chill, because this is serious. And so, and it was serious, and I didn't want her to be upset even though I knew what was going on. So that's what made the dream so weird. It's like I'm not saying anything, but I know everything. And so just when we're about to do that, somebody knocks on the side door, and I'm like, don't answer it, because I know. And she's like, oh, it's a woman, and it was this white woman, but her skin like didn't look really real. It looked like you know how when people put too much makeup on and it kind of looks splotchy? It looked like that, weird, like it's not the right pigment that it's supposed to be. And I was like, no, don't open the door, I don't care who it is, don't open the door. And this dummy unlocks the door, and I pushed it, and when I pushed it, the thing already had his hand in there, and the hand was like rubber and bent. And I was like, look what you're doing, help me push the door. And I start pushing against the door, and this thing is so strong. I guess she got pissed off about having to push against this door so much that she undid the bolts, like the latch on the other side of the door. So at this point, the door is not even connected. And she grabs my friend by the throat and took her and threw her out the door. And I started running, and I don't know why I'm running, because if she, like I said again before, if they wanted me dead, I would have been dead. And so I'm running, but she moves past me, and she goes through my house and into this, what's almost like a courtyard inside of this building. And they start screaming, like security starts screaming. I hit some kind of emergency button, and they're like, everybody's on lockdown, so the doors are automatically shutting. These iron doors are shutting over top of the houses of people, and these things are coming in through the door that, my side door in my house. They're coming through it and lifting the iron up off of the thing and pulling people that don't belong there. And they start taking teenagers, people that are, preteen and up. They start coming to them, and they start judging them too. And it's almost as if they was judging and deciding whether or not they could change. And there's more time on this video than I thought. But during the time that they're in there inside of the building, it's like as if I know that it's not just us. Like, they're not able to get any kind of government contact. They steady trying to contact all night, trying to contact, but it's not working. And it's like I discovered that, what was I gonna say? I'm aware that they're not able to contact anybody else, and I realized that it's not just us, it's not just happening here. These people are stupid in their mindset. They're thinking, oh my God. And the funny thing is, somebody kept saying, this is in the initial part when they did the first wipe through, that somebody kept saying it's the government is fucking us up and all this other kind of stuff. Like, they just kept, it was funny, but it wasn't funny. They was like, the government is fucking us up. That's the government shit. We don't have these kind of transformer shit things around here. These fucking spaceship, army vehicle looking shit. This is the government. Like, you hear people saying all of this stuff. And I'm gonna go ahead and start saying the judgments that they were calling out. They were like rapist, molester. They were like liar. And immoral. People who had old modalities. People who were absolutely caught up in religion, like with no hope of recovery. Old modalities. They were saying these things, like just saying why these people weren't worthy of being on the new earth. And I knew that it was about the new earth. I knew that it was about cleansing. Anybody that was pure in their heart, and anybody that was believing and understanding what true righteousness is, what life is supposed to be, and all of that, they were staying. They were here to, they're going to stay and be here to help clean up. But the other ones, they were just throwing them away like trash. They were literally calling out, this was complete trash. This one is, this one is this one, this one is that one. But it's not like the sins like you see in the Bible. They weren't saying things like, oh, homosexual, oh, you fornicator, oh, this is that and the other. It was just like, if you were natural or unnatural, and they were picking people on that basis, not necessarily pointing out people that were good. They just let you live and you understood, and so it was just strange like that, just very strange like that. And what you gonna do, run into me? I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting something else, because the whole thing was just, I don't know, it was happening as if I'm watching a movie, like as if I'm dreaming something that should be a movie, but something about it was just extremely real. And you're seeing these people suffering, you're seeing people crying, you're seeing people falling to the earth, like you're feeling all of this fear, all of this anxiety, all of this panic. But it was like after the first reaping, the first time that they come true, it was like this cleanliness, or like a cleansed feeling that came over the earth, and they were not done. So as far as like the auric field, I mean the ethereal field, like as if there was a cleansing being done over the earth, and that's really what they were coming to do. And then I woke up, I just remembered, let me make a quick apology, because when I did that channel tree message, I left out some stuff, and it's funny that I left it out and then I dream about it. That judgment is not what we thought it was, or how people imagine it, and that it's happening in real life, it's going to happen in real time. And they just was, well, that particular tree was also saying that